My husband told me that I am ruining our son's future by teaching him how to cook. He brought father-in-law to stop our son from doing girly things and it instantly backfired. I have 3 sons with my husband Charlie. My middle son Matt is a little different from his brothers. His brothers like things that are typically meant for men like sports, gadgets, video games and so on. But Matt is different. He is not a big sports fan. He likes reading and painting. He doesn't mind doing things that are typically not for boys. Another thing about him is that he is passionate about food. He has been like this since he was 6. He would often come to the kitchen and see me cook and oftentimes offer to help. Well, I don't let him do heavy things like cutting or standing too close to the fire, but he would be a helping hand. I call him Ramsay Jr., after Gordon Ramsay. Honestly, I like this arrangement because while I am doing all of the cooking, my other boys are in their room. My husband, on the other hand, is not impressed by Matt. He is a proud father of 3 sons and often like to do stuffs with them, like teaching them how to play baseball, playing video games, wrestling, watching sports, but Matt is not interested in any of those things. He has said over and over again that those typical things they do doesn't interest him. My husband would still force him to do it because he thinks it is more important for him to do things that are more masculine with his brother because it creates a bond. I have tried several times to convince my husband that he must let Matt go and let him do his thing. We eventually reached to a compromise that Matt will do sports and other stuff with them once a week so that he is in touch with his brothers, and rest of the time he would do his own activities that he likes. My husband also doesn't like that Matt would rather stay in the kitchen with me being my helping hand rather than with him and my other boys. He sometimes tries to criticize him by saying he shouldn't be doing girly things or he will not get any girls in the future or he will be made fun of. The incident happened yesterday. I was in the kitchen preparing for lunch. My husband and sons were outside playing football. Paul and Jamie called Matt to come play with them, but Matt was not interested. I told him he should go play with his brothers now while I do the meal prep and he can come back during the cooking process. Matt agreed, but he came to the kitchen after 10 minutes and started helping me. My husband was with the boys too. He called Matt several times but Matt didn't budge. I can see it irritated him. After the lunch, my husband was pissed and told me what I am doing to Matt is going to harm him in the future. I told him how is forcing him to do things he doesn't like would help him. He wasn't listening and kept saying things like he needs to be a man and stop doing girly things. And the way I am encouraging him cook and bake things like grandma, he would get bullied in school and he doesn't want a son who is a sissy. I was shocked. I told him he needs to get his head out of his ass because cooking is gender neutral. There is nothing wrong with Matt wanting to cook. My husband got mad and told me I am ruining my son's future. He doesn't want him to grow up weak and fragile, and making him do girly things will make it worse. He needs to learn how to be a man like his dad and learn how to provide rather than take on feminine roles. And just because I couldn't get a daughter, I should stop turning my son into a girl. This turned into a huge fight between him and me, and now he is not talking to me. Matt is sad because he thinks he is the reason why his dad and I fought. I had to assure him that it was not his fault at all. Update. So, few days ago, he decided to call his dad. He thought since his dad was in the military he would teach Matt some lesson. So, my father-in-law came to our house. We chatted and talked. Charlie brought up the issue with Matt. He just talked about everything, starting from his passion for cooking and not being interested in other masculine stuff. Father-in-law was quiet and thought about it. Matt looked scared, because father-in-law looks like a scary guy. Father-in-law told the kids to go to their room because he wants to have a chat with hubby and I after we were alone. I was expecting father-in-law blame me, but instead he blamed my husband. He said he is really embarrassed of my husband for having such backward thinking. He knows that when father-in-law was in the military he had to do all his chores and sometimes have to cook. He just loaded on my husband that he is teaching the wrong lesson to Matt. That cooking is a good skill and it will help in real life. Watching sports and video games will not teach him anything valuable. There is more. I cannot write all of it, but my husband looked really defeated. He tried to argue that Matt needs to do tough things, but father-in-law shut that down by saying he has the nerve to say cooking is easy when he probably can't boil water. Honestly, it was funny to watch my husband being berated by his dad like a kid. Father-in-law then called the boys to the room and told us to give them privacy. We were outside. I was looking at my boys through the slit of the door. Matt looks relaxed, but the heads of Jamie and Paul was down. Long story short, father-in-law told my boy to not bother Matt anymore. He also instructed that my boys help me in the kitchen once a week to learn how to manage home. He also told Matt to not be scared and do whatever he likes. I am glad Charlie brought him to our house even if his plans backfired. I thought after father-in-law left there will be peace. My husband would be normal and understand, but he was sulking and moping around. I asked him continuously what happened. He didn't answer at first, but then after a lot of pushing and pestering he did. He said that the reason why he didn't want Matt to do feminine things is because he, my husband, was bullied for that when he was in school. I knew he had to deal with bullies, but he never told me why he was bullied. This is my first time hearing this story. He said when he was about Matt's age he would also be in the kitchen with his mom because he liked watching her cook, and they lived in a joint family, so his uncles and aunts would also live in the house, like in Kanto. He would often get bullied by his cousins because he spent more time in the kitchen. He also admitted that he had an interest in knitting but had to stop because he once heard his then crush say that it makes him gay. So he also got bullied for knitting. I was angry at him, but now I just pity him. I had to explain the situation to him that we do not live in the past and a lot of things have changed, and that he shouldn't have to give up what he likes because people are stupid around him. There was a lot of conversation about past and present and also about him being comfortable with this situation as a whole. He told me that he will not pressure Matt anymore. He realized that in order for his kid not to get bullied, He became his own kid's bully. Things are fine now. Today all of the boys, including my husband, helped me in the kitchen. For the first time I felt a little relieved by it. Also to those people who told me to leave my husband. Why? He is a good guy. I know he holds some backward views, but he is nice and caring. I understand he has insecurities, but they are not worth having a divorce. Things are fine now, and if it goes bad I know what to do.